A new beginning. Roberto stepped into the dimly lit car repair shop in Puerto Vallarta, the smell of oil and metal greeting him. The mechanic, wiping his hands on a rag, announced that Roberto's car was fixed, nearly as good as new after replacing the damaged parts. Roberto nodded, signed the receipt, and thanked him quietly. Behind the wheel, he drove through the city's vibrant streets, the ocean breeze drifting through the open window. But later that day, in a quiet act of detachment, he parked the car on a deserted road, stepped out, and walked away, leaving it behind as if it no longer belonged to him. The story shifts to Alejandra, Roberto's teenage daughter, lounging on the beach, her toes buried in the warm sand. The waves crashed rhythmically, a stark contrast to the turmoil in her life. She and her father were preparing to leave Puerto Vallarta for a fresh start in Mexico City. Their car ride to the new city was heavy with silence, the air thick with unspoken tension. Alejandra, staring out the window, broke the quiet to ask about the car. Roberto's voice was flat as he lied, claiming he sold it after the repairs. Neither spoke again, and the journey ended at their new apartment in Mexico City. As they unpacked, the strain between father and daughter was palpable. Roberto's forced smiles couldn't hide his grief, and Alejandra's distant demeanor mirrored his pain. It was clear they were both haunted by a shared tragedy, struggling to move forward. The next morning, Alejandra faced her first day at a new school, her nerves fraying as she navigated the unfamiliar halls. Unsure where to sit or how to connect, she felt like an outsider. During a break, the principal outlined the school's strict policies, including mandatory drug tests. Alejandra, compliant but anxious, provided a urine sample. A tea lunch. A group of students, Joes, Camila, Javier, Irene, and Manuel, approached her. Their initial warmth quickly turned intrusive, their questions probing into her reasons for moving and her father's plans. Alejandra, trying to fit in, mentioned her love for surfing and Roberto's dream of opening a seafood restaurant. The group smirked, dismissing her words with laughter. Still, they invited her to hang out after school. Eager for connection, Alejandra called Roberto, who, distracted by his restaurant preparations, was relieved she was making friends. At Josie's house, the boys played video games while the girls chatted. Camila casually admitted to using cannabis, unconcerned about her upcoming drug test results, explaining the school's rehabilitation program over harsh punishment. She also hinted at students cheating the tests by swapping urine samples. Alejandra listened, uneasy but silent. That evening, Alejandra and Roberto watched a movie together, but their emotional distance lingered. The next day, Roberto faced challenges. At work, his assistant chef's incompetence frustrated him, prompting him to leave early. The following morning, a call from Alejandra's school shattered the fragile calm. Her drug test was positive. In the car, Roberto confronted her gently. Alejandra admitted to smoking for 3 months, promising to stop. Roberto, suppressing his disappointment, nodded, and they let the matter drop. Roberto's grief, however, weighed heavier each day. Still mourning a devastating loss, he snapped at work and left early again. That evening, Alejandra noticed his distress and suggested helping at the restaurant. Drawing on her knowledge from years around her father's cooking, she offered practical advice to the assistant chef, easing some of Roberto's burden. Later, Roberto took Alejandra shopping, but his distant demeanor persisted, leaving her unsure of his feelings about their new life. In a quiet moment, Roberto visited an insurance office, where the agent asked about his late wife, Luque, whose death in a Puerto Vallarta car accident still haunted him. Roberto deflected offers of counseling for Alejandra, unable to face the pain. Meanwhile, Alejandra attended a party at a wealthy classmate's home. In a jacuzzi, the group drank and smoked cannabis. Despite her promise to Roberto, Alejandra faced pressure to join in. She refused the joint but sipped alcohol to blend in. Joes flirted with her, and they slipped into a bathroom for a brief kiss. Unbeknownst to Alejandra, Joes recorded it on his phone. She noticed but, caught in the moment, didn't stop him. Glancing at her reflection in the mirror, shame washed over her. Tea home, Roberto sensed she'd been with a boy but didn't press. The next day, Alejandra's world unraveled when she received the video of her and Joes. Classmates whispered and pointed, some flaunting the video with cruel taunts. At lunch, Camila and Irene distanced themselves, with Camila blaming Alejandra for the scandal. The bullying escalated. Manuel and Javier cornered her in the bathroom, harassing her. Furious, Alejandra grabbed one of their phones and smashed it. In a meeting with the principal, Manuel lied, claiming they were working on a project, and Alejandra overreacted. To shield Roberto from more pain, Alejandra went along with the story. Manuel demanded a new phone, and Roberto, unaware of the truth, agreed to replace it. At home, Alejandra withdrew, barely responding to Roberto's attempts to connect. The bullying worsened. Classmates drew crude pictures and mocked her relentlessly. Joe, still popular, tried to talk to her, but his attention only fueled Camila's jealousy. At lunch, Camila and Irene invited Alejandra to a party to mend their friendship. Hesitant but hopeful, Alejandra agreed. At Camila's house, the girls pressured Alejandra into a revealing dress, mocking her reluctance and snapping a photo without consent. When she tried to leave, Camila slapped her and, with Irene's help, cut her hair with scissors. Devastated, Alejandra locked herself in the bathroom, sobbing at her reflection, her life spiraling into a nightmare. The next day, the harassment continued. Manuel stole her ring, and when she fought to reclaim it, she punched him in frustration. Overwhelmed, Alejandra lay in bed that evening when a call from family in Puerto Vallarta revealed the truth. The car Roberto claimed to have sold was found abandoned, still registered in his name. Betrayed, Alejandra confronted him at the restaurant. His admission deepened her pain, and memories of her mother's fatal accident flooded back. On her birthday, Alejandra hoped for a reprieve, but her classmates turned it into another humiliation. They smeared cake on her face, with Camila leading the cruelty. Sick and vomiting, Alejandra broke. She bought a bus ticket to Puerto Vallarta, but at the last moment, returned home. Roberto had prepared a birthday dinner, but their strained bond left her feeling empty. During a school overnight trip, Alejandra's torment continued. On the bus, she sat alone, ignoring Josie's attempts to talk. Her roommates locked her in the bathroom, stealing her belongings. At a beach campfire, the group forced her to drink, poured alcohol on her, and humiliated her further. The boys' cruelty peaked when they urinated on her, reducing her to tears. Even the girls, disgusted, pushed her into the ocean to clean up. Weak and unable to swim, Alejandra drifted away. Her classmates, assuming she drowned, panicked but said nothing. Exhausted but alive, Alejandra pulled herself from the water far from the group. The next morning, as teachers noticed her absence, the students claimed she vanished while playing by the ocean. Roberto, informed his daughter was missing, rushed to the beach, consumed by grief and guilt, believing the ocean had claimed her. He filed a missing person report and drove aimlessly, desperate to find her. Meanwhile, Alejandra reached Puerto Vallarta. Sneaking into her family's old home, now under renovation, she found solace in her childhood bedroom. That night, Roberto discovered a CD slipped under his door. Playing it, he saw the video of Alejandra and Joe's, realizing the extent of her suffering. Devastated, he confronted the school, showing the principal the video. Joe's admitted to recording it, claiming it was consensual, but the truth of the bullying unraveled as students turned on each other. Roberto's grief turned to rage. Spotting Joe's being driven to school, he followed, pulling him from the car at a red light and abducting him. At a remote motel, Roberto bound Josie's hands and, consumed by vengeance, took him out to sea in a boat. Ignoring Josie's pleas, Roberto threw him overboard, believing Alejandra's death was caused by the bullying. His face blank, he sailed on, lost in his actions. Unbeknownst to Roberto, Alejandra was alive in Puerto Vallarta, finding fleeting peace in the home where her life once felt whole.